Hi, Jimmy Kerstein. Today I want to show you how to cut up a couple of boneless pork loins. These are readily available. The reason why they're plentiful sometimes and cheap is because on the other side is where the baby backs come from. And baby backs are always very popular, so sometimes the producers wind up with an abundance of these and you can get them for a pretty good price. These two I paid $1.55 a pound for at my local cash and carry. Things to know about a boneless pork loin, whether you're buying a pumped pork or a natural pork. If it's pumped, it means it has an additive of sodium phosphates and salts, and that's to keep it moist and tender while you cook it. And if it does have that in it, it'll say so on the label. If not, it probably just says natural or nothing at all. That means you're buying just pork. There are two ends to this thing. This is the end closest to the shoulder, and you can see it's kind of, in some cases like this one, it's somewhat smaller, but it's it actually has like 2 or 3 different colors of pork. And this is where the pork shoulder is, and then the loin end, this is where toward the back of the pig. So we're going to show you today, we're going to show you 10 different ways to cut that. 2 easy ones that you probably know already, because this is really an easy piece of meat to cut, is to just cut a roast off or cut it into chops. So we're just going to cut a roast off here. And you can pre-trim this, but I like to, you can see it has a little bit of a nice fat covering there. You know what I think is a roast? I think I would leave all of that on there. It's going to taste good. So there's a roast. That's one cut. Okay. And then, of course, your choice when you cut chops is to cut thick or thin. So we're going to just cut a couple chops just as an example. And the idea is you cut them and then you trim them. That's a better way. You get better yield that way. So we'll set those there. There's a couple nice chops. Okay. And then the other thing you can do is you can cut a roast and you can tie it and double it. So you would take this roast, you could cook this whole this way and it would cook very nicely, but sometimes these are, like this one is a bit smaller. This is a nice big one. If you wanted to double it and cut it, you would just cut it, butterfly it right in the middle, cut it almost through, fold it over, and then we'll put a couple strings around it. And you can see that's a nice, we're gonna put a couple quick knots here, get that baby to pop. I'm not gonna take time to show you how to tie the knot because I have a video that shows you how to do that. If you've seen my videos before, you'll know that there's a really easy how to tie this butcher knot. So I think something like this, about 3 nice strings will do it. You see that's a little nicer roast. It's going to cook a little more slowly, but it's going to be it'll fit in the pan better. Kind of looks nice too. It's more impressive as a big roast. So there we are. So there's 3 cuts, 3 different cuts that we have. A beautiful, great big roast. We'll move on to this one. And we're going to start at this end here at the sirloin or the chuck end. And what I want to show you how to cut first are some where the baby backs, where I've seen these marketed elsewhere, not in my neighborhood but online, where they market these as baby back country styles. And what you want to do is you want to cut like 1.5 inch wide pieces like that. And then what you do is you cut them through the center, through the lean piece. Like that. So there we have some baby back country style spare ribs. The other things you can do, I'm going to trim a little of this fat off the top, is you can make I really prefer this end here. You can make like a nice pork cutlet out of that too. So what you would do to do that is you'd cut a thinner chop. We'll cut a couple of them here. And take our little mallet here, and you can put this, we're going to turn off the sound for a minute. I'm not going to say anything. We're going to give them a couple quick whaps. What you're going to do here is flatten them out and make a nice pork cutlet. We'll do a couple of those, one more quick smash. If I weren't doing this on my cutting board, can't hear a word I'm saying. If I weren't doing this on my cutting board, I would take these and I'd put them between a piece of plastic and do them that way. The other roast you can cut is a pinwheel roast. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a roast size you want, and then what we want to do is we're going to open it up like a pinwheel. So what you want to do is come in here, hold your knife, and just go flat across about 3/4 of an inch through it. Flip it over, and then come back, and then come through this side here. Effectively what you're doing is making a nice big long roast. And then I have some, because I'm prepared here. If I were doing this for non-demonstration purposes, I'd probably make a fancier, jazzier looking stuffing. So I'll take this and we're going to spread it out in here. Looks like I have room for more. Let's go ahead and put more of that in there. When you stuff things like this, you want to keep it within, it's going to squeeze out obviously as you roll it up. Then you just roll it back up like that. Same thing, we'll put a couple strings around this. Just to hold it together. One thing about pork is you no longer have to cook it to 160 degrees. The USDA says now that 145 degrees is a good food safe cooked finished temperature. So that's a finished temperature with a resting time. So you can cook it to 140 degrees. Sometimes I'll cook it to like the high 130s, and then I'll pull it out because it'll gain to 145. So I would cook this in an oven. All of these roasts, I would cook them in an oven, probably 350, season them. Don't cover them to about 138 degrees. Pull them out, let them rest, and they'll be ready to go. This is going to be a really nice little stuffed roast here. So we're accumulating quite a nice selection of chops here. So now what we want to do, move that out of the way. Since we have stuffing working, I'm going to show you how to make a couple of stuffed chops. So we're going to cut a chop, cut another chop here. And to make a pocket for stuffing, you want to just take your knife and cut in and then kind of pull it back underneath and do that from both sides. You just need an opening at the top to put the stuffing in. You don't really want to open up the whole thing. So again, you stick your knife in and go back underneath both directions. You do this, you can stick your finger in there, you can feel what you're doing, and then we'll just do the same thing. We'll take a nice bit of this stuffing, we'll fill it. I see these in the meat case, in the service meat case in my local chain store, and they look real pretty, and they're usually about $5 a pound because they take so long to make. You can see how long that took to make. And ours, with a 99-cent box of the chain store stuffing, cornbread stuffing, push that all in there, fill that little pocket full. They look nice too if you kind of put them up above. And I would roast those standing up like that to keep the stuffing in if I could. And put them side by side. Set those down there. And the next cut we're going to do is a double stuffed pork chop, and to do that, you want to just kind of chop this a little longer, and then cut butterfly, which means you cut almost through but not. You want to divide this into 4 slices, and so I've taken a 4th slice off either end, and you turn it over, and then do the same thing in the middle. And then when you open it up, you have a double stuffed pork chop. So we'll fill this one up too. Looks like I have the perfect amount of stuffing here for my demonstration. Kind of like that. So there we have a pork chop. Maybe I could use a little more stuffing. A double stuffed pork chop. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 2 more things to go. One of those, I have to rinse my hands here. One of those is a fairly straightforward and easy thing to do. And we're going to cut this pork roast lengthwise. And then you can serve it, you can cook these. These are wonderful to cook on the grill in the summertime. Just take these and cook, season them, put a little rib rub on them and season them, cook them on the grill. And the last thing I'm going to show you is just to simply take some of this and make pork stir fry out of it. It's pretty easy to do. You just want to take a thin slice pork from any part of the pork. You can see how nice that is. Do that. We'll steal some more off the end of this. We'll have a nice little pile of stir fry there as well. And you see there's virtually no waste to this. You really can't go wrong, so I would encourage you to give this a try. So we're going to put these roasts and set this up there. It's another one of those. This is our stir fry. We're going to put this here. We're going to add a little color to our stuff. There's some of my rib rub. A little seasoning on the top of this. A little seasoning on the top of this. Make it look pretty. And we might as well dust that too because it looks nice. So there you go. Split roast, double roast, regular chops, thick and thin. Pork cutlets, pork stir fry, pinwheel stuffed pork loin, country styles. Pull those out so you can see those. Stuffed pork chops, double stuffed pork chops. 10 different items you can cut from a boneless pork loin. Buy it, try it, have a little fun.